Welcome to Two Girls, One Podium, the podcast where girl talk meets the finish line.
Join your hosts Millie and Jasmine, two besties with a passion for speed, sports and spilling all the tea. Whether we're breaking down the latest race drama, fangirling over our favourite drivers, or just having a laugh about life behind the scenes, we're bringing you the ultimate mix of motorsport and girl power.
So grab your iced coffee, buckle up and let's hit the track because here it's always full throttle and fabulous. Hello and welcome back to another podcast of Two Girls or One Podium. We are back with lots of exciting things to talk about this week. Millie is here with us. Millie, how's your week been?
Yeah, my week's been good. It was a good race week, so my week's been even better than good. How about you?
Yeah, it's been busy, but you know, that race gave us lots to talk about and I'm really excited to get into it. Nothing like Snoozer Suzuka. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think we should start at the start, which means we're going to be talking about Lando and the little tattletale that was going on at the beginning. Do you want to kick that one off?
Yeah, we had some dobbing in going on, telling on the student to the teacher. So Max was clearly paying a lot of attention to the cars around him, and he spotted immediately that Lando rolled forward. He was already quite far forward, and then, you know, commentators were saying that he maybe hit neutral and it rolled forward or whatever, but apparently Lando, you know, again, took the blame that he made the mistake and didn't think he was that far across the line. But yeah, he cheated. False start, whatever you want to call it. Strong words.
Full start. There was definitely tattletaling. It would have been caught regardless of whether Max had said anything.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, it was quite a bit far forward as well. Which is a real shame because Lando had a really great start. Like, we were watching and we were like, oh my god, he's already picked up like 2 positions, and then he had to serve the extra 5 seconds in the pit. Which
Do you know what, though? I think serves him right. Sorry, a bit harsh, but I think we complain so much about Lando having bad starts, right? It's one area that he's got to tighten up. And I think in this case, like, so if you're past the line, you can have a good start. Fix it. Stop getting, like, these issues that every time you start, getting a 5-second penalty that you could really done without. You know, like, I get that mistakes are made. I think this was a scrappy race from him, and I think, you know, he said the same, but yeah, I just want him to really nail those starts. If he does that, he won't have to fight so hard. You know, he'll be in a good position.
Yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. And the thing is, like, this is the big leagues. Like, mistakes like that. I mean, everyone's human. Yeah. So. And like you say, everyone is human and mistakes are made. But again, this is Formula 1. Number 1. One. So silly mistakes like that are going to cost you.
Can't afford to. If you want to win that championship, you cannot afford to. And I know we'll get into other things that happen, but when your teammate is performing the way that Piastri is performing, you cannot afford to make mistakes. And I think I heard somewhere that he said he wasn't really focusing too hard on the beginning of the season, like, you know, lots of races to come and all that. But I think that's a mistake because that can make or break a championship win at the end if you've got those extra points early. And we saw it last year with him and Max competing for the title, right? If they'd got more points or they didn't have that whole shenanigan with Piastri taking on one of the wins and taking the points, that could have changed things, right? And I think it's quite interesting that he dismissed it. Don't know how true that is, as I said, but that's what it seems like he's saying.
Lando says a lot of things.
I don't believe him.
And it would be mad to not focus on the beginning of the season. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's saying it so the media kind of leaves him alone, but I don't think that's going to work, right? The media are hounds. They will go in and look for blood when they sense it. Again, I call back to all the things that I've been saying so far is I need Lando to start really believing in himself. I think that's going to be the difference. I don't think it's the races and the scrappiness and all of that. That will come with the confidence if he believes in himself. And I don't know if he does, but he just tries to downplay it because, again, I think he's heavily scrutinised under the media. So no matter what he says, he can't win. But I really want to see him believe in himself more because I think he's got potential.
Lando is his number one enemy, followed by the media. And the media reinstates to him that he is his number one enemy and that everyone else thinks the same that he thinks in his head, when it's just not true.
No.
It's not.
He wouldn't be in the seat that he's in, and he wouldn't have had a team want to keep him for so long if he didn't have that capability. So
but we can't have this wounded puppy thing go on for the whole season, you know. Oh, it was me. Nah, be like, that wasn't me, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen next time.
Exactly. Or if it is you, fix it.
Yeah.
Practice it. Like, I mean, I'm sure he is, right? I'm sat here saying this stuff like he doesn't have to train. But if you know where your weaknesses are, that you should be... I want to see him every time in practice, after qualifying, practicing those starts over and over and over again until he knows in his head exactly how he needs to start those laps. I think there is areas that he can focus on, but yeah, I want him to become public enemy number one if it means he's got a chance at winning.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, we can't be having it anymore, Lando. Get your shit together.
Come on, mate. We need to see you winning those podiums, getting that championship. I need another Brit to get behind. Come on.
Mm-hmm. So obviously Lando had quite a lot of screen time, but maybe we should talk about the ghost of the race.
Yeah, Piastri, the invisible man that you are.
Where was
he? We got no coverage.
He was at the front. That's where he was. But
I know. There was a lot of screen time on Lando and Max, and I get why with Max, but he wasn't really anywhere worth watching, and I was quite disappointed that we didn't even see... I don't think we saw Piastri at all until the end of the race, and he'd won. There was one point where the commentators, like, 'cause obviously I watched on the Sky version, showed Lando and they were talking about Piastri, and I'm like, that's not what we're seeing, guys, like, what is going on? So yeah, where was he? But great race for him.
A great race for him. He must feel like king of the world right now, because he has come into this season and he is smashing it out the park. After he's only had one bad race, which is obviously his home race. Ironic. But yeah, it was a brilliant race for him, and a little wholesome moment of that race is that I think he was the first Oz to finish first since his own manager. Yeah.
And also Bahrain's technically kind of a home race for them in Bahrain, just because of McLaren's funding, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it couldn't have been a better time, and I don't think that's, we're going to see many more wins this season from Piastri for sure. Shame about his home race. I think, that really sucks, but he's come back and not disappointing.
No, not at all. Not at all. Talking about disappointing, Max. So obviously you mentioned that he had quite a lot of coverage. He had a lot of trials and tribulations in this one. Quite a lot of trials and tribulations.
Not a happy time for him. And I'm not saying that he wasn't happy. I probably wasn't.
He wasn't.
I mean, it's not, aside from that, just in general, what the hell was going on at Red Bull? That's what I want to know. Not only was there issues with the pit lane, obviously the light stayed red for both him and for Tsunoda. He lost loads of time in both pit stops, I believe. He
dropped to last. Fall from grace, right?
Yeah, it was really bad. And then on top of that, like he's saying that the car's awful to drive. I think he was on hards. He hated those tyres. Most people will get onto the tyre situation. Most people hated the hards, but he was really not happy about that. But yeah, I just think lots of different things didn't go their way, and getting overtaken by lots of people probably was not fun, but I'd love to see it. I have to say, Antonelli, his overtake on Max was perfect. I was cheering him on.
I was so thrilled for Kimi, but I thought he must be shitting himself because he's thinking, that's the world champion!
Yeah, the one who gets his elbows out as well, and he was probably like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
I need a round of applause for Kimi, because...
Yeah, he did a great job, honestly. It was such a great overtake. But I think as well, we have to talk about the fact that, him and Carlos were battling it out a little bit, Max and Carlos. And Max started complaining about Carlos not leaving him space. And I think that's very interesting that the person who had a rule created for them, because they didn't leave people space when going around on the outside of a track, complains about someone doing it to him. And I'm like, maybe.
I mean,
karma.
stones, glass houses, right?
Exactly that, exactly. But yeah, I mean, nothing came about of that from what I remember. There was no penalties or anything. It was investigated or noted, and then it was dropped. So, you know,
No.
I think Max is probably just looking for alternative things to find an advantage. That's the sign of a good driver. So, yeah, it didn't work out for him today. Well, yesterday.
No penalties on that one. One that I was surprised didn't get a penalty, actually, was the
Ocon.
little... No, that wasn't what I was going to say.
No, but Ocon always gets a penalty. That's the running joke. And he
Oh,
he
I see. Well, he didn't. He actually got my... No, he didn't. He didn't get my driver of the day. I was going to say he did, but he didn't. It's a lie. It's
I'd
a
be very
blatant lie.
surprised.
No, yeah. I was very confused.
Yeah.
No, who... Yuki.
Yes.
Yuki hit my Carlos Sainz, gave him a hole in his car, created debris and chaos.
Yeah.
I thought, you owe him an apology, sir. You owe him an apology.
Sonoda had a messy race. He was getting into all sorts of kerfuffles with people. I don't know what was going on with him. I mean, he still did well in terms of where he ended up, right? I think he was 2 spaces behind Max in the end. Yeah, he was. He ended up in 9th and Max was in 6th. So I think all in all, he's clearly able to drive the car, but he was messy in that race. And I also think that Carlos has had such a bad run in that Williams. I'm hoping it turns around for him because, yeah, that hole was gaping. I'm surprised they left him out as long as they did.
He was doing a brilliant job whilst he was out.
Fangirl.
I'm just so mad. I'm so mad at Yuki.
Oh.
That guy deserved a break.
I know he did, but it will come, I think. Yuki needs to tidy that up because that was a mess. Like,
yeah, it was causing chaos. He brought a safety car out. What are you doing?
I know, but that did make for an interesting race, and we should talk about safety car in a bit as well because obviously bunches everyone up, and there was pit stop, everyone.
Pit stop central. Yeah.
But I think as well, like, you know, just going back to Carlos, there's been a few things happening in that race where he was being overtaken by different people, but him and Lewis, the overtake, it must be so bittersweet, but it was so good. Like,
it was chef's kiss.
Fight it. Delicious. I was screaming and cheering my man on, which is Lewis Hamilton, if anyone didn't know.
No. I was cheering my man on.
Yeah, well, he lost. And what about it? He DNF'd. And what about it?
It's fine.
His time will come.
He's got the next one.
Yeah, he'll get, P12 or something. Hey, that's high. That's higher than last.
Actually, I think you'll find the Williams cars have quite a lot of pace at the moment. They are
showing up. Well, Albon in 12th. Where's the pace?
All right, this week it wasn't great for them. It wasn't. But Albon has been doing great. They were, I don't know where they are now, but they were 5th in the championship last week. I'll have you know.
I mean, I'm being harsh, but I really like Williams and I actually really like the drivers. So, I'm with you on this. I'm glad that they're performing well.
Yeah, let's just leave me, my little fangirl Williams alone because they're going to do it. I feel it. I feel good things for them. It was just a bad race for them. That's all. That's all it was. You can't win them all. Quite literally.
They haven't won any, but,
You can't come mid-table in them all. Or above mid-table in them all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, let's aim lower and then maybe they'll surprise us. But no, I completely agree with you. I think, there's more to come from Williams. It was just unfortunate this wasn't the track for them. And then obviously... Carlos was doing well and then he got basically sideswiped, so not a lot he can do about that. But I will say it was very bumper car happy because that wasn't the only people coming together. There was a few people doing a little tip-tap here and there around these corners, and it was like being at the bumper cars at a fairground.
I know, it looked like so much fun.
Yeah, not what the cars are built for, and lucky that no one else got a puncture or any damage.
Yeah, very expensive bumper cars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't think they could afford to have that. So I think they were lucky to get away with not having any damage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to be fitting that bill for sure.
No, definitely not. And, maybe they'll send an invoice to Yuki.
I think they should. Yuki and his iced coffee should go get some more money, because there's an expensive one for Williams, and Yuki for sure has more money than that, so...
Exactly. But, I mean, it's part of the fun of racing. People come together. Do we want to talk about the safety car? Just the fact that, it came out.
I really enjoyed the safety car. I mostly enjoyed the moment where they panned the people in the safety car and they were having the best time.
They were pie.
They were like... That would be me.
They probably listened to The Venga Boys Are Coming.
I wonder if they actually have a radio in there. Oh my God.
I would be blasting some
Me too.
great music. Yeah. It was, I didn't catch that, and I'm really gutted. I'm going to have to find a clip of it, because, that sounds like a great time. But I will say, obviously, Yuki created the need for a safety car. Everyone pitted under the safety car.
Not everyone.
Well, most people pitted under the safety. It was nearly everyone, it felt like.
Max
Piastri
didn't to get his place back up. So he obviously had fallen to last because of his terrible pit stop. So he decided to take the L on going for a pit stop, so that he went up I think he climbed 6 places or something, because he didn't pit.
Yeah, which worked out really well for him. But Piastri was lucky. When that safety car came out, he could have so easily missed the pit lane. So I think he really lucked out there. He didn't really have to do anything different, and nothing changed for him. So, it was a relatively easy race, aside from the fact that he had no water, which probably didn't help. It's quite hot, so he probably was absolutely thirsty when he got out. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. But it was just really funny to see every single car pretty much just aim for that pit line and
the double stack on Ferrari. Talk about chef's kiss. That was incredible. That was so good. 2.3 seconds was their best.
My butt was clenching, because I was like, but it's rare that you see a double stack go well where people don't lose time. And there's the famous clip of Lewis and Bottas in Mercedes doing a double stack. They call him in, and Bottas says, "Don't make me lose any time," because Lewis is in first. And that is a really clean stack. But Ferrari, it was up there with that for me. It went really well, but I was worried, because I was like, it's Ferrari. What the hell is going to happen in here? But they pulled it off.
Their strategy went pretty damn well this time.
Questionable at first. I was like, why are Ferrari bringing them in when
long
they were
game?
leading?
They were doing the long game.
You say this. I was so annoyed that they then brought Lewis in on hards when everyone else had been complaining about the hards. What are we thinking? My man does not deserve to be put onto hards when no one else is. I was so annoyed.
I was having the best time.
Of course you were. Honestly. You just love to see my downfall. Oh, you're so rude. I can't believe you say that.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, they can't all win.
Well, at least my man's got 7 championships to his name. Anyway, I wanted to also say that Williams was a weird call on the tyres. And the reason I say that is we had James... what's his name?
James Vowles.
That's the one. I was going to say Valtteri, but that's Bottas. I don't know why his
No,
name
James Vowles.
So James Vowles came on the pit wall to talk to the commentators, and they were asking him... Yeah, I bet you did, but they asked him about hard tyres, and he was like, we're hoping to not go on them. Yet they ended up putting both their cars on hards, or one of them went under hards.
Yeah, but.
Maybe they didn't have other tyres, but go on.
No, because I think they only get 2 sets of hards for the whole season, don't they? Something mad like that, no?
Not for the season, it's per race. And, they do have a set amount, but I don't think it's for the season, because could you imagine?
Well, I know, that's why when I thought that's what I heard on the, by Crofty.
It's how much they have for the weekend.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
so, you can use them in practice and qualifying, and then...
Yeah, okay, so that makes more sense. But I think the reason he said that was because he's on the pit wall. So he's not going to be telling his strategy to everyone, is he?
No, but they did ask him based on the information that you saw, and nobody was enjoying it. So I still don't see the advantage, even if you don't want to give away
Oh,
the
wait.
strategy.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that was an advantage. I'm just saying you probably said that so that everyone else was like, oh, well, they're not using Haas. I don't know. That's my best guess.
It's just weird.
I loved him being on the radio, though. He's such fun.
I have a lot of respect for James. Like, I just think he's got a lot to... Like, he says stuff in a way that's so blunt, but, like, it's not hot. Like, he's not trying to be harsh or anything like that, but he's just really to the point.
He is. He's soft, but to the point.
Yeah, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. So I still say this year isn't the year to really focus on Williams. Next year is when we'll see.
All the years.
All the years. Well, it's they've been focusing on 2026 is what I mean. All the years, of course, all the years. You think like they just didn't care up until now, even though they've been racing for so long.
Yeah, they're just. It's gonna come through for them. I can feel it. I'm like Mystic Meg, and my prediction is Williams.
Is it when you go outside and you hold your hands outside? It's raining.
Yeah, it's about a 40% chance that it's already raining.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm Mystic Meg, and I feel it. I feel it coming for them. I do.
I'm glad you believe.
Well, McLaren had their comeback. What's to say that Williams can't have theirs?
All the previous history of the entire company.
Chaz, don't
sorry,
show
I'll
my
go
dreams.
I mean, they might get to top 4.
Look, if I just do positive affirmations, I'm gonna make this happen for them, and when it does, they'll thank me, Millie Morris.
I don't think they will. They don't even know who you are.
They will. Don't you
Knock on
worry.
the door. Hi, I'm your number 1 fan.
Literally, I just stand outside sometimes. I'm like,
Just a little sign. Please come and talk to me.
let me in.
I have things to talk to you about.
Yeah, maybe I should get a driver's DPD. But I've got a parcel from James Vance. Yeah. It must be signed by him.
In person, and I have to be the one to get it.
Anyway, moving on from Williams, because again, we talk about them a lot. Sorry, that's me. There was a couple of McLaren sandwiches going on. So I wondered if you could kind of tell me, based on the driver that was the filling, what filling you think that they would actually be. So the first McLaren sandwich to occur was George Russell being the filling.
Yeah.
What filling do you think George Russell would be?
He was for sure an egg and cress in that.
Do you think?
He was an egg and cress on seeded bread, I'm telling you now.
No, look, I'm sorry, I disagree.
Go on then,
I think he was using words like audacious this weekend, and do you know what that screams to me? A salmon and cream cheese. He's a posh boy, he's a posh sandwich.
That's fair. That's fair. I just feel like he's a bit weird sometimes. So for me, egg and cress is a bit weird. I don't like it.
I mean, that's also fair. Both great sandwich filling choices for George.
Yeah, not judging anyone who eats those either, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't eat a cream cheese and salmon?
Not a salmon kind of girl.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh my god, the attitude! We're no longer friends. All you do is judge me on this podcast. So rude. First you come for me for my predictions, and now you're coming for me for my sandwich fillings. What
mean,
next?
the fact that you don't eat salmon, weird.
It is not weird. No, not everyone likes salmon. It tastes like dirt.
Dirt? It comes from the ocean.
Yes, but it still tastes dirty.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about fish. We're here to talk about drivers. The next sandwich to occur was obviously the McLarens with Leclerc in the middle.
I like
what
the
sandwich?
visuals.
What sandwich do you think? What sandwich filling is Leclerc to you?
Wow, are you going to judge me for it?
I probably yes.
Yeah. I am giving Leclerc a BLT.
No
There
way,
was so much going on. Oh, period. I love that. Yeah. BLT.
Everyone loves a BLT. Everyone loves
does.
Leclerc. And there's layers. There's layers to a BLT.
Exactly.
And there's layers
he
to
showed
Leclerc.
a lot. A lot of those layers. There was a lot going on, and he did really well, all things considered. Like, he was in the wait, let me get that out. He was in the running to be on the podium. You know, it didn't obviously work out, but it was very, very close. So yeah, he's a big old BLT.
Another reason I picked BLT is because he was probably a little bit salty that he didn't get to podium, and BLTs are a little bit salty.
You're going too deep with these sandwich bullets. I just thought, what comes to mind, BLT? That's as far as my...
I love that we got the same, though. That's great.
Yeah.
If you guys want to let us know what sandwich filling you think they are,
we'd love to know. And
we would love to. I'm definitely going to judge your sandwich choice.
Yeah, she will. Okay.
Anyway,
moving on from sandwiches, I think, you know, there was lots of overtaking that went on. Lewis was doing lots of overtakes. He managed to climb quite high up. We have to talk about Behrman again. P20 to P10. This kid is blowing my mind, and the fact that he's still not getting driver of the day is making me angry. Like, I love Lewis, glad he got it, but didn't do quite as much.
So yeah, I agree. Behrman, look, the rookies, not just Behrman, but the rookies this year,
classy people.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Outstanding job. A lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them.
Most of them, and considering how it started, this is the turnaround that I wanted to see. Antonelli, I have to say, has probably been the most.
I mean, there was a part of the race where it panned to Bono, who obviously looks after Antonelli now, and in my opinion, he just looked really proud. And all I thought that was going through his head is this kid could be the next it thing. Like,
he could be my next Lewis. And I don't say he's the next Lewis because I don't think that's fair to Antonelli. I think Bono is looking at Antonelli as this relationship could be similar. Like, there is so much talent in that kid, and I feel like Bono sees it. Like, we don't get a lot of their radio messages, which I think is, like, disappointing. I'd like to hear kind of how their dynamic is going, but I think we've got so much to see from Kimi Antonelli. I'm really, really enjoying watching him race.
I agree. And sorry, I didn't mean to steal the light from Behrman then, because you're right. Behrman is... I mean, we just say the same thing every week, don't we? Behrman, in a Haas!
He's doing this. He got points. Like, he P10. He got points. I'm sorry, but that is so impressive. And to still not get driver of the day, what does this kid need to do? You know, I can't wait to see what happens in his career, because if he manages to get into a better car in the next couple of seasons, I think he could be up there competing.
I mean, they'd be silly to pass him up. Honestly, they would.
Yeah, I would quite like to see him in McLaren. See what
wait,
he could do.
no, you can't.
Bye,
wait.
Lando.
Talk about my Lando that way.
Sorry about that. I'm just being honest.
Well, they're both in contract, so it won't be McLaren.
Things change. Look at Red Bull. People were in contracts there, and they get kicked with like 3 races. Talking of Lawson, do we think he needs to go out? I think is he good enough for F1? I feel really harsh saying that, but he got a 5-second penalty for a collision under the safety car, and then he got a 10-second penalty. Like, this kid is just racking up. He's a new Ocon for penalties, it feels like.
Yeah, honestly.
Is he good enough? I question, is he good enough?
I'm sure he's I'm sure he's a really nice guy, but I'm really bored of seeing him on the grid. He doesn't bring anything to it. I know, savage.
Oh my god!
What has he brought to the grid? What?
An attitude that it wore off really quickly once he realised that it's probably a lot harder than he thought.
Yeah, it's not.
You know, he was saying some bold things about him and Yuki and stuff that weren't even necessarily true about him being faster and outperforming him in F2 or whatever it was, which doesn't pan out. I mean, granted, you lost your seat to the guy for a start, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, but I'm not inspired, I'm not interested, and I'm just waiting for him to fall down the back of the pack every time.
Yeah,
oh, she's yawning, people. I can't.
It's a yawn for me. Yeah. Sorry, Lawson. I'm sure you're a nice guy, but you're not for the grid, in my opinion.
No, I agree. But he wasn't the only one to get penalties, right? We had Carlos getting a 10-second penalty. He pushed Kimi wide. I feel like that was maybe really harsh, but it was quite an aggressive kind of force. And then obviously we had loads of black and white flags, which I think resulted for some penalties in the end as well. And even Lando was getting that. But who could bloody tell with the technical issues we were having left and right?
Yeah, let's be honest. Like, were they actually exceeding the track limits? Because there were so many technical difficulties. They didn't even, at one point, George was at the bottom of the pack, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he just rolled down, but he was still in P2. His transponder wasn't picking him up, so his DRS weren't going off at the right point. His dashboard went off at one point. He opened his DRS at the wrong time, because he couldn't see anything. He was trying to talk to he's trying to push the radio button, it went through. So, yeah, that was chaos. And then, obviously, that meant that Lando probably struggled to know when to open his DRS because it wouldn't pick him up. And then, we didn't know where anyone was or what the time was for like 15 minutes.
Oh,
everything went.
So annoying. I was waiting for my Williams. I just knew they dropped. I was like, where are they? Because it would only show you the top 8. I think they managed to get the top 8 in this tiny corner here, and I thought that's not good enough for me.
You're going, you come back to me, Willie. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I was like, where are you at?
Oh, free Willie. Yeah, and then at one point it was showing a live part of the race, and it's a replay. I don't know what was going on at this track, but there was some real problems. And then obviously the red light thing we talked about with the Red Bulls, that was all going off on like it was all wrong. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was crazy. There was just thing after thing happening in that race, and poor George. I mean, he had every issue going on.
It was crazy, like cray. And considering everything going on, most of the drivers took it in their stride. So good for them, because I didn't realise how much of it was actually automated, and maybe you guys didn't either. Like, until this race, I didn't even realise that the DRS was based on the tracking system. I just thought they were like, you're within DRS range, you could go now. I didn't realise that was all automated, and it is interesting to see how when one thing goes down, it can really affect the whole race.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, throw back to how driving used to be before those cars became practically computers. But yeah, it really, it was just very interesting. I think George did a great job at somehow managing to keep all of that car moving, and I bet he was counting down those laps to see that flag, like probably ask him, what am I on, when's the end? Because he could have easily pressed loads of stuff. I didn't see the outcome because he did have to go to the stewards after the race because he opened DRS. Obviously he said that he opened it accidentally because he was trying to push the radio button, and as soon as he realised it was open, he closed it. It was like barely a second, didn't really gain anything. And to be fair, he was seconds, like it was like 4 or 5 seconds away from Piastri at that point.
So he wouldn't have gained anything?
No, but I would, I don't know, we should probably check on the outcome, because I feel like it would be a little bit harsh. I understand the rules, and like, yes, it isn't technically an advantage, and you shouldn't open it. Everyone knows you shouldn't open it. But if you are having tech issues anyway, and then everyone else is having tech issues, other people were having DRS problems where they just couldn't open the DRS flap up. So, a lot of them just weren't even using it. Can you really punish him for that? I mean, you can when, if someone gets an unsafe release in the pit, they penalise the driver. Technically this is a tech issue, but will they penalise him for that? Like, it feels like it might be a bit harsh, even though I'd understand why they would.
I think it's harsh. I mean, I know I'm not a driver, but when I drive my own car, sometimes I find it hard to even put the aircon on. Whilst I'm driving.
I'm just pushing buttons, wipers are going off.
That is the chaos of me driving. So,
yeah.
Give the boy a break. He's going at 200 miles.
I'm lucky if I don't crash.
He's going pretty fast. He's trying to get through. It was a second. Yeah. Give him a break.
That's what I say. I mean, I don't see any news about it, but again, we probably can validate that. But yeah, I feel like it would be a bit harsh. And to be fair, there was so much going on. Obviously, we had some crashes. There was a lot of investigations. I get a bit bored of those black and white flag ones as well, because
exceeding track limits.
Yeah, like I get that in certain situations they do get an advantage, but it's just like it feels really nitty-picky. What's the word I'm looking? Nitty-gritty picky. That's
nitpicky.
The one. Nitty-gritty picky.
Nitty-gritty picky.
But yeah, I think, give the dudes a break. They're going really fast. Like, see them do it. FIA, get in that car and show me what you got. That's what I say. But yeah, that was the main issues. But I think we had such a good race. Like, it was so entertaining.
So much going on.
So many overtakes. Like, there was so much going on. Like, there was Lando and Lewis also had a moment where they were kind of getting a bit scrappy out there, and that was really exciting. And then obviously you had Leclerc. He was going back and forth, and again, still surprised that he managed to get where he got. But you know, they really were testing each other out there. And I think
it was a fast and furious race. That's
not
for sure.
the fast and furious. Yeah, it was really good though. It was so entertaining. Like, it's such a 180 from Suzuka.
Oh, couldn't be more polar opposite. And there wasn't even any rain, and it was still exciting.
And it was at 4:00 in the afternoon here, so it meant that we didn't have to get up early, which is always better.
Bliss, pure bliss. Although I saw a couple of Americans complaining it was really late for them.
Go and watch it on Drive to Survive. I don't care. I'm kidding. Anyone who's an American fan who might eventually listen to us, I think
like Americans are listening to us.
Come and listen to us. We know exactly what we're talking about. We could literally spin up any kind of story and then not believe it.
Well,
like, I saw this on Drive to Survive. It happened. Okay.
You know, there could be some special American sandwiches out there that we're missing out on because we don't know about them.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Maybe the Americans can enlighten us on what American sandwich they think.
Yeah.
Such
New York Deli pastrami bagel slaps, by the way. If anyone wants to recommend
Not a George Russell, then. More of a Leclerc.
Yeah, not a George. Anyway, maybe let's stop beating up the Americans. We love you, really, for those who aren't listening. Yeah, what else do you want to talk about? I've got nothing else to say.
I have an embarrassing moment of the week, and I think you might have an embarrassing moment of the week too. So I was wondering if they were the same. You go first, and clearly I'll probably be very
judgmental,
emotive. Apparently, I'm quite emotive, like, who knows? I speak with my hands and my face, so if we have the same one, I'm sure I'll be making lots of hand gestures and stuff.
But even more reason to come and watch us on YouTube then, because then you get to get the full reactions of Millie.
Oh, honestly, I was looking back through a couple of ours, and I thought I could just put a montage together of my weird faces that I pull throughout.
Can you do that? I think you should. That'd be great. That'll get us popping off. Embarrassing moment of the week is, why is George taking photos of the drivers in the cool-down room with no clothes on? Poor Lando has already had his face touched, didn't enjoy that. And now he's got naked photos on the gram, on threads, everywhere. And he just looks like, he doesn't even look like he knows the photo's being taken. And I just think, what is George doing? Like, he's giving
George just wants some friends. You know?
No.
He does. He wants some friends. He's clearly not great with social cues. And, I don't know. I'm kind of growing to love George this season.
You're on your own.
He's been so good with Kimmy. Have you seen the interactions he's had with Kimmy? Oh, he's like a little father figure.
But I feel like everyone's adopted the rookies, especially Kimmy. Like, I see Max really loves Kimmy as well. Like, he gravitates towards him. But I think, where was that energy when you were there with Lewis? I'm not expecting him to, like, look after Lewis.
This is the hatred towards George. I see it. I see you for what you truly are.
Which is ugly. If you haven't watched She's the Man, you should, because that's from there. Anyway, no, what I was saying is that George obviously was a massive fan of Lewis. This is a proper tangent. And when he finally gets into the car, I just feel like he wasn't that much of a team player towards Lewis. Like, he very much felt like he should have been number one driver. He got his wish now. So, you know, fine. Glad he's having a good time with him.
You have second-hand hatred towards George because of Lewis.
Second-hand hatred?
Yeah.
No, because you know what? I used to be a George fan. When he was at Williams, I thought he was doing a phenomenal job. Really liked him. He was getting points in a car that wasn't point-worthy. Really wanted to see him win his first race when he stepped in for Lewis. And, you know, he was on track 2, and then Grosjean obviously had that crash and things just went really wrong in that race. And then he got to Mercedes, and something about him just turned me off. I don't know what it was, but he
was challenging your man, and you didn't like it.
He was not challenging my man. The bloody data tells you otherwise. It was his attitude.
Very defensive.
I'm kind of a facts, baby girl.
I see
Says the girl who literally sat here for 5 minutes talking about how much she loves Williams and doesn't want anyone to come for them. So, Millie, you're killing me. Anyway, moving on, because you judge me for everything that I say. With love, of course. What's your embarrassing moment of the week?
The head shake by Max. I don't know if you saw it. When he got stuck in the pit. They couldn't get the wheel off.
Oh,
and he just...
that second time. That's always like giving a thumbs down.
Oh, it was... I had second-hand embarrassment for the pit crew. I was like... Yeah. That would be a sick moment for me. If I was the person on the drill, I would have thrown up afterwards.
It must be the worst feeling when they get stuck. It must be the worst, because like, you can't do literally anything.
Could you imagine getting a head shake from Max Verstappen?
I know. I might as well tear his heart out of his chest.
Honestly, one singular tear ran down that person's face that day, I tell you.
But I will say, like, I'm hoping that for Max it highlights to him just how good of a team he's had. You know, if this is the first mistake, really, that we've seen in that pit lane, that's seasons worth of no mistakes, basically. Like, there's been a lot of times where they've gained an advantage because of how good their pit crew has been. So I think, maybe it will humble him a little bit of like, actually, maybe I've got a pretty decent team, because if this is how it feels for the other teams...
Wishful thinking, in my opinion. I don't think...
Yeah, I know. I'm literally portraying a character that doesn't exist, but, you know...
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound like Max.
In my head, Max isn't who he is, and that's what he was thinking. And he'll go after and give him a little hug and be like, it's okay, guys, we're all friends, we'll have a bit of cake, I'll bring my cats, and it will be free therapy.
I mean, the only accurate thing about the whole thing you said there was cats.
Yeah,
that is the only accurate thing.
And he loves them, that's it. Yeah, it was pretty bad from them, to be honest. But I don't know what was going on with that light situation. I would love to know, kind of, if it was just part of the track issues or something.
I wonder how hot it was there. I wonder if a lot of the issues was because of the heat and the...
But it's not the hottest race of the year, right? Singapore is one of the hottest, and they didn't have any issues. It just seemed weird that everyone was having some kind of technical problem. Like, driver, pit... even just the graphics on the screen, like, it was crazy. So I wonder, is there an electromagnetic field? There must be loads of ghosts or something.
Too much
with the mainframe. Yeah, too much phasmophobia. We've been playing horror games, so that's not my bad. I don't think that's embarrassing though. I feel like mine's worse.
No, it was the second-hand embarrassment. I literally sat there and felt anxiety in my stomach for them.
Wow, you feel a lot.
I'm an empath. I feel a lot. I feel deep, you know?
I try and shut my feelings off, so that's maybe why I didn't clock it.
I'm dead to the world.
Everything is awful.
I also wondered whether you had a funny moment of the week. I don't think I asked you this beforehand.
So I've got nothing to prep. Great, let's wing it. Oh, a funny moment of the week. I don't really...
I can tell you what my funny moment of the week is.
Yeah, let's go with that whilst I get to think about mine.
It was when George's screen went blank, he referenced Alonso's steering wheel falling off in the practice.
Yeah.
And I thought that was quite funny. It was obviously must have been really scary for Alonso, so that wasn't my funny moment of the week, because that would have been absolutely terrifying that his steering wheel fell off. But it was funny that George referenced it when his screen went blank, as long as it doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, no.
What a comedy king he is.
That's probably the only funny thing he's ever said. Oh, sorry, I'll rein it in. I don't hate these moments, I promise. I'm just making it fun, okay? Sorry about that. I don't know, I think like sometimes the radios are really fun, but I feel like we didn't really hear a lot of radio messages during this race. And again, technical problems.
I reckon it was the technical problems, yeah.
But like normally I like to hear the sass of, at the moment, Albon, and Max obviously always has something to say. But yeah, Leclerc, I think the only thing was he really wanted to push for Delta, and they said no, which probably was a one stop but wouldn't have worked. But yeah, I think probably I'd agree with you. Obviously they told him his dash weren't working, and he said about not losing the steering wheel, so that's probably mine. I'm going to piggyback off yours because I don't know anything else. I don't find anything funny, okay? No.
Everything is dead serious.
Yeah. Like, why are we even doing this podcast? Like,
yeah, like,
what do you even
my friend?
know? Sorry, let's not do that. We really bring in the mean girl energy to F1, apparently.
Yeah, in a nice way.
I don't think that's...
I mean, we've been a bit mean, haven't we? We
Next
do love
up-
the drivers, but these are just our opinions.
Yeah, and next up we're going to cut circles out of our t-shirts for the titties.
Yeah, exactly. So
If you haven't
tune in
watched
for
Mean
that
Girls,
next
that
time.
makes no sense, by the way. We're a mess. Okay, I think we should talk about our driver of the day.
Yeah, let's do that. So, my driver of the day, and I actually voted this time because we spoke last time and we said that we were fed up of seeing driver of the day not actually being who deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
I voted.
Your vote didn't make a difference, by the way.
It didn't. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
I voted for Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him, but he did really well.
He did do very, very. In fact, both of the Alpines performed very well.
I'd agree.
So I voted for him for my driver of the day, and it made absolutely no difference. What about you, Jazz?
So I didn't vote. Nobody come for me, but I just didn't. I again feel like it should have been Behrman. I feel like he had a really good race. And also to make up for it, because we seem to be doing that at the moment with these races, like just making up for people who have driven. But I do feel like Behrman has been so good at climbing through the pack in a Haas that doesn't seem to be doing that great qualifying. But if I didn't go for him, I would probably have to go for Antonelli. I liked what I saw. I really liked what I saw in the race, and I think he's had a lot of great moments in the season already. I'm excited to see what will come from him. I know he's not necessarily finishing very high up, but the way he drives, he has potential to be one of the greats just because of what I can see. Like there's just something about him that makes me excited to watch him race.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not going to come for your driver of the day.
Guys, we've hit a new milestone in our friendship.
I think they're great choices. I think we had a lot of great drivers this race, and I think that's why it made for such an interesting race. So
yeah,
there was probably quite a few drivers of the day, but there are our opinions if any of you cared, or if any of you have even got this far. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe you just stop listening to us when we first started talking about stuff we don't know. But if you want to share your your driver of the day, God, if you want to share your driver of the day with us, we would love to see it. Obviously, just throw loads of stuff at us because nobody talks to us. Anyway. Let's move on to predictions. Let's cover off what we predicted for last week and what we are going for this week, and then what we're going to go for the next race.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay, fine. Last week I predicted Lando, Max, and George. So, yeah.
So it was not. It could have been worse. It could have been what I did the other week.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't awful. It wasn't awful. Not the right order, two of the right drivers.
No. And what's your predictions for Jeddah? So Jeddah's a fast track.
Yes.
Really fast track.
Yeah, it's a skinny track as
Skinny queen, skinny ledge.
Yeah. Skinny
Did I just say skinny ledge?
So, not many chances for overtaking, which means only the boisterous will prosper.
Only the strong shall prevail.
Pretty much. And the people I think are going to get their elbows out are Oscar, George, and Lewis.
Interesting.
I know, I put a Ferrari up there. I really didn't want to.
Let's go!
What about you, Jazz?
So, my previous prediction for Bahrain was Piastri, Max, and George. So, 2 out of 3. I'll clearly get in better, but it might be a fluke. So, Jeddah predictions. I think this is where experience is going to pay off. And as you said, only those who are willing to push the car as far as they can and take that risk are going to be successful here. Just because it is such a fast track and you have to really have big balls for it. So I'm going to go for Piastri, Leclerc, and Lewis. I don't necessarily know, I'm not keen on the order of Leclerc and Lewis, debatable, but Leclerc has had more time in the car, so that's why I'm leaning that way. But yeah, I think Piastri's he's just got nerves of steel. There's just something about him that's so calm, I just don't think it'll faze him. But I think we could see something from the Ferraris. They did so well in the sprint race back in the last couple of races where Lewis won it. If they can get that set up right, it's on.
I think it's really funny as well that we both said we're picking the boisterous and neither of us have picked Max, but
the car's not there.
Agreed. It showed this race, right? That
Yeah. Quali, they might do okay because when they got less fuel, the car seems to come in quite well. And obviously, we've seen Max pull blinding qualification times in that track as well. Obviously, granted, he had a much faster car, but I don't think it's going to be their race pace. And he's going to struggle to overtake. I mean, he's not one to keep his elbows tucked in, but I think it would be foolish to try and kill yourself for it in a car
Agreed.
that's might not going to get to the end in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess only time will tell, and we'll see if he can push it to the max.
Oh, God.
No, not like that. Moving on.
That was my awkward, embarrassing moment of the day. I'm kidding. I really did you. I'm sorry. Let us know what your predictions are, though. Again, if you want to join in, like, we'd love to see it. It's all fun and games. Obviously, nothing we say in this podcast is serious, so hashtag don't sue us. But yeah, I think unless there's anything else you want to talk about with the race, we can probably.
No, I think we've covered it all off there. Like Jazz says, please come interact with us on our socials. We're on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. Like I said last week, we are hilarious. So, we'd like you to be hilarious with us. Come tell us your thoughts, feelings. If you don't agree with us, tell us you don't agree with us.
And if you just want a therapy session, write it out in the comments. I want to know.
Yeah, come have fun.
If you're a Ferrari fan, you're going to need it. Just throwing it out there. But sorry, it's not good. Also, check us out on YouTube because we do post our videos and shorts up there. But if you actually want to see us, because sometimes when you're listening to a podcast, we're doing things that you can't see and we're rubbish at explaining it to you, you can come and see us on there. And occasionally we have fun visuals in the video when I can be bothered to put them in. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I use a lot of hand gestures. So.
And not dirty ones. Why
no. Oh no, that sounds really weird. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but mostly come watch us on YouTube.
Please, help me. Someone come and save me from this girl. Alright, I think that's it. See you on the next one.
Bye.
As always, bye. Oh, I'm stopping it, I can't.